An invitation to a night of Zen, a quiet night. Without the moon, only gentle breezes slip through the wooden shutters, causing the curtain to sway softly like the breath of the room. I sit here upon an old mat, my back resting lightly against the wall, hands placed on my knees, relaxed, like leaves freshly fallen. Dear friend, if you have a little time tonight, I invite you to sit here with me. No need for a perfect posture, no need for any knowledge of Zen. Simply be present and listen to this small story, not to learn, but to absorb, as the earth absorbs dew. There is a way people often describe Zen, a religion that is not a religion. It sounds paradoxical, doesn't it? And yet, it is true. No need to believe in deities. No need to rely on heavy scriptures. No need to chart out a long, winding path called liberation. Simply be here. Breathe. Listen. Touch what is. Like tonight when you sit quietly, hearing the faint hum of cicadas somewhere in the garden, or the steady drip of water falling into an old porcelain basin in the kitchen. You do not need to strive to touch the present moment. You are already within it. It is just that we've grown accustomed to turning away. Long ago, a young man asked a Zen master, "Master, how can I attain enlightenment?" The master smiled gently and replied, "Do you hear the sound of the stream flowing?" The young man nodded. "That is the way." The master said, "We often think of Zen as something lofty requiring years of arduous practice, the reading of countless sutras, or deep retreat into lonely mountains. But it is not so. Zen is when you wash the dishes and know you are washing the dishes, when you drink tea and know you are drinking tea, when you breathe and know you are breathing. Nothing more, nothing less. Tonight, I do not invite you to pursue any doctrine, nor do I promise that by hearing this story, you will be enlightened or free from suffering. We are simply sitting quietly together amidst the whirling currents of life, giving ourselves a small space within, untouched by tomorrow's plans, yesterday's worries, or desires yet unspoken. You may sit however you feel most comfortable, perhaps leaning lightly against a chair or reclining on your bed. Let your shoulders soften, breathe gently, and if you wish, you may close your eyes or leave them half open, gazing softly at the outline of a lamp or a quiet beam of light in the corner of the room. This journey has no destination. No need to wonder whether you are doing it right. Just as the river does not need to be taught how to flow, we are simply sitting. As I share a few small stories, the kind of tales that Zen masters of old would quietly tell beside glowing embers, amid the whispers of wind through bamboo groves. One night, one breath, one cup of tea, one story. That is enough to begin. And now, if you are ready, let us take the next step together. No rush, no expectation, as when watching a flower slowly unfurl at dawn. A tale of a religion that is not a religion. There is something I find delightful about Zen, and I often share it with new friends. Zen does not require you to believe in anything. No need to believe in gods. No need to believe in a creator up above. No demand that you possess an eternal soul or promises of a blissful afterlife. Simply to be present with yourself here. Now, in my younger days, I wandered through many lands, listening to countless teachings. I met masters who spoke of celestial realms. I encountered sages who discoursed on endless cycles of rebirth. I heard promises of salvation in some distant world after death. But one elderly Zen master once said to me something so simple that it shattered open my heart. Why chase after things unseen when this very breath is already a miracle? Have you ever noticed how often we become entangled in seeking distant answers? We ask, where is God? We ask, is the soul immortal? We ask, where do we go after we die? Such questions can haunt us for a lifetime. And yet, has anyone truly found the answers? There is an old Zen story. Two young monks were arguing about the existence of deities. One declared, "Surely there is a supreme being who rules over all." The other insisted, "No, everything is but chance." Unable to resolve the debate, they sought out the old Zen master at the temple. Hearing their dispute, the master merely smiled and asked, "Have either of you seen this God?" Both monks shook their heads. "Then why not first look into your own breath?" The master replied, "Zen neither denies nor affirms the existence of gods." But Zen gently reminds us, such questions matter less than whether you are truly living with awareness. For whether you believe or do not believe, still, you must face your fears, your joys, your loneliness, and your moments of happiness. No, God breathes on your behalf. No, God eats your bowl of rice today. A Zen master once said, "Asking about God is like asking another lost traveler for directions." Everyone is walking. Everyone is searching. No one has yet arrived. So why not pause and feel the earth beneath your feet? I recall once, a friend asked me, "Is Zen atheistic?" I smiled and replied, "Zen is not theistic, nor is Zen atheistic. Zen looks deeply into the nature of all things without labeling them." You see, life is already miraculous. Nothing needs to be added. A single dewdrop shimmering on a leaf, a bird's song in the morning, a warm hand held amidst the crowd. All are miracles of the present, though we often miss them while chasing unanswered questions. Tonight, I invite you to set aside those questions about gods, about the afterlife, about distant realms. Return to what is simplest: the breath, the beating of the heart, the warmth in the palm of your hand. Are you living fully in this very moment? If you are, that is already Zen. Zen does not ask you to become someone else. It only wishes for you to be present with yourself fully, as a flower blooms in the garden, needing no explanation for its beauty. And now, with the mind a little more settled, let us continue this small story of the night about a young prince who left his throne behind in search of awakening within himself. One time, when I was younger, I met a middle-aged man, gentle in manner, yet with a face that always seemed pensive. He came to me and said, "Master, I have read hundreds of religious books, visited countless temples and shrines, and still my heart is full of doubt. I want to know, does God exist?" I invited him to sit beneath the eaves and poured him a warm cup of tea. Then I asked softly, "At this very moment, do you hear the birds singing in the courtyard?" He looked a bit surprised, but then listened carefully. "Yes, the birds are quite clear." "Oh," I smiled. "Then, drink your tea, listen to the birds, and take a deep breath first. As for whether God exists, let us speak of that another time. We often chase after great truths, forgetting the small truths unfolding all around us. A gentle breeze brushing through our hair, sunlight shimmering across a wooden floor, a cool drink of water after thirst. The miracle is right here. But if the mind is preoccupied with lofty questions and distant worries, how can it be seen? Zen does not advise us to discard all questions. Rather, it teaches us to let go of those that do not help us live more deeply. If we spend our lives asking about the afterlife, yet forget to live this life fully, is it worthwhile? If we strive to prove whether God exists, yet do not know how to love the person beside us, what is the use? One day, a young novice asked his master, "Master, after I die, where will I go?" The master laughed. "Are you certain you will still be alive tomorrow?" The novice was taken aback. The master gently patted his shoulder. "Then today, wash your bowls well, eat joyfully, and study with a happy heart." End quote. Dear friend, as we sit here tonight, perhaps there is no need to rush in seeking answers to everything. Simply feel each breath, each faint sound in this room, and be grateful for this very moment, still here for us to live fully. That alone is enough for a little Zen in the heart. And now, as the mind settles a bit more, I invite you to listen to the story of a young prince who left his throne behind to walk the path of inner freedom. In those days, there was a prince born into great luxury, named Siddhartha Gautama. It is said that his father, a powerful king, loved him so dearly that he would not allow a single imperfection to touch his son's eyes. Throughout his childhood, the palace was his entire world. Beyond the walls, there was a land not yet drawn in his mind. But one day, the gates opened. The prince asked his father for permission to leave the palace and explore the city. And on that journey, he encountered 3 sights he had never before witnessed in his life of royal seclusion. An old man bent with age, hair white, steps trembling. A sick man writhing in pain, face pale, breath faint. A dead man lying still amid the wails of mourners. Perhaps we have all seen such things, but how many of us have truly looked deeply into them? Siddhartha was different. He was shaken to his core. For the first time, he understood fame, power, wealth. None of it could save anyone from aging, sickness, or death. That night, in the palace, he sat quietly beneath the eaves, gazing at the silver moonlight. In his heart arose a silent question. In the end, what is the path that leads human beings beyond suffering? From a prince amidst gold and jewels, he chose to let it all go. No throne, no crown, no lavish feasts. He carried only a deep longing to find the truth for himself and for all beings caught in the ocean of suffering. He traveled many paths of ascetic practice, fasting, sitting in meditation under the cold sky, binding himself to the harsh disciplines of the masters of his time. At one point, his body was so thin that only skin and bones remained, and his breath was as faint as a spider's thread. But then, he realized extreme asceticism was not the way, nor was indulgent pleasure the way. And so, one early morning, he sat beneath an ancient Bodhi tree by the river Niranjara. No more striving, no more resistance, no more thoughts of attaining enlightenment. He simply sat breathing, listening, sensing the flow of body, mind, and all things. Later generations would call that moment his awakening. But truly, perhaps even he did not name it as anything at all. He only knew that from then on, his heart became vast and open, like the sky after rain. He saw clearly, all things are impermanent. All things are deeply interconnected. Attachment is the root of suffering. Letting go is the door to freedom. From that moment, he did not become some saint on high, end quote. On the contrary, he stepped into the ordinary world, walking from village to village, sitting and speaking with the poor, the wealthy, the wise, the foolish, each word like a drop of cool water, each gaze like an open door inviting others to return to themselves. Do you see? This story is not merely something from 500 years ago. It is unfolding every day, within the heart of each person. Every time we dare to face what we fear, every time we release a bit of craving or clinging, every time we sit quietly and breathe with the fullness of life. The Bodhi tree need not be some ancient tree out there. The Bodhi tree can be wherever you are, in a small room, on a familiar chair, beside a warm cup of tea. Tonight, as we sit here, if for even a brief moment you feel your heart grow, still know that the seed of Bodhi within you is gently sprouting. No need to rush, no need to force. Simply be present. And now, I will share with you something else that this prince discovered something profoundly true about the cord of craving, which has bound human beings in suffering for countless ages. The delicate thread between craving and suffering. Have you ever noticed, the more we crave, the more restless our heart becomes? It seems simple. Yet how many of us have truly looked deeply into this truth? In ancient times, after his awakening, the Buddha often told those who came to learn, the suffering of this world is like one who licks honey from the edge of a blade, sweet for an instant, but bleeding before one knows it. End quote. I once met a wealthy merchant. He owned grand houses, luxurious cars, and had coffers full of money. But during a visit to the temple, as we sat drinking tea, he suddenly said, "I am richer than many, yet I still cannot sleep well at night. Each day I fear losing what I have." And craving is like a delicate thread, thin, yet unyielding. When we have one thing, we want two. When we have two, we want four. And each time we attain something, the joy is fleeting like a gentle breeze across the surface of a lake, and soon another craving arises. The Buddha taught, desire can never be fully satisfied. And it is like pouring water into a bottomless jar. Pour as you might, the heart still feels empty. Look at the elders around you. There are some whose eyes grow brighter, whose smiles grow gentler with age, for they have lightened their hearts toward life. But there are also those whose faces grow more bitter and harsh, with the passing years having chased after illusions that were never fulfilled. Zen does not tell us to abandon all desires. There are natural, human desire, the wish for good health, the wish for a peaceful family, the wish for children to grow strong. What matters is to clearly discern which are genuine and which are illusions. One day, a lay practitioner asked a Zen master, "How can I know which desires to release?" The master smiled and poured a cup of tea until it overflowed, spilling onto the table. Then he said, "Like this cup when it is full, adding more will spill. So it is with craving. When you feel your heart growing weary, it is already too full." Oh, we need not become hermits deep in the forest. We need only to look mindfully at our own desires each day. Am I buying this item because I truly need it? Am I doing this work out of joy or to prove something? Am I pursuing this relationship out of genuine love or out of fear of loneliness? When we look deeply, the excessive threads of craving will naturally loosen, and as the heart lightens, we will find true joy lies not in adding more, but in letting go. Dear friend, Tonight, as we sit here in this stillness, you might try this. Think of one desire that has been weighing on your heart. Simply observe it as one watches a drifting cloud pass across the sky. Do not chase it away. Do not cling to it. Just see it clearly. You may find it dissolve softly like morning mist. Suffering does not come from the world. Suffering comes from how we cling to the world. And now, with your heart perhaps a little lighter, I will share with you the next part, a picture of the wheel of life, the 6 realms of rebirth, which, in truth, are nothing other than the states of our own mind, experienced anew each day. Dear friend, from ancient times, people have often spoken of the 6 realms of rebirth, the great wheel of life and death, where sentient beings endlessly drift from one life to another. It may sound distant and abstract, but in truth, these 6 realms are not somewhere out in the cosmos. They are right here, within each of us, manifesting through the states of our mind each day. An old Zen master once said, "In the morning one wakes as a human. By noon one becomes a hungry ghost. By afternoon, one falls into hell. By evening, one soars to the heavens." Such is the ordinary life of the mind. Oh, at first it sounds playful, yet the longer I live, the more I see its truth. Take a moment to reflect on your own day. In the morning, when you receive praise, your spirit lifts light, as if dwelling in the heavenly realm. At noon, when work does not go your way, irritation arises like falling into the realm of the asuras, the realm of jealousy and struggle. By evening, weary from worries, the mind grows heavy as though sinking into a personal hell. When hunger stirs, craving for food or other pleasures, we transform into hungry ghosts, always yearning, never satisfied. And when we release into a peaceful sleep, free from troubles, we rest in the serene human realm. The 6 realms are not outside the mind. It is the mind itself that leads us through these realms, moment by moment. The Buddha once taught, the mind is the root of all realms. When the mind is at peace, anywhere is nirvana. When the mind is disturbed, anywhere is hell. Oh, one day, someone asked a Zen master, "Master, how can I know which realm I am in?" The master smiled and asked in return, "At this very moment, are you at ease?" The person pondered for a moment, then softly shook his head. "I am anxious about tomorrow's work." "Oh," the master gently replied, "then right now, you are walking in the realm of worry." Oh, you see, when the mind shifts, the realm shifts as well. When anger arises, we enter the realm of asuras, the realm of aggression. When greed consumes us, we become hungry ghosts, endlessly craving, never full. When burdened by sorrow and despair, we fall into inner hell. When we let go and rest in equanimity, we dwell fully in the human realm. And when moments of deep mindfulness and unconditional love arise, we touch the realm of the heavens. Thus, liberation from the wheel of rebirth is not merely a matter of some future life. It unfolds in each present moment of clarity or delusion. Once, I asked an old farmer, "Are you afraid of the cycle of rebirth?" He smiled kindly and said, "I don't think about future lives. I just hope each day not to bring harm to myself or others through greed, anger, or ignorance that is already freedom from the cycle." End quote. The 6 realms are simply 6 shades of the mind. When we are awake, we step out of them. When we are lost, we drift within them. Tonight, as you sit here, you might quietly ask yourself, at this very moment, which realm am I in? If you feel at peace, smile. If you still feel entangled, smile as well. For with just one mindful breath, the realm can shift again. And beyond these 6 worldly realms, there is a deeper truth that the young prince once saw clearly beneath the Bodhi tree. That which we call self is in fact but a boundless flow, with no fixed or separate essence. That story I will share with you next. There was a time when I met an old friend at a small gathering. She worked in human resources, a busy career, high income, beautiful home, luxury car. But when the party ended, we lingered under the eaves, and she suddenly sighed. "Master, every morning I rush to work, my mind always tense. At night I collapse, exhausted, and as soon as I lie down, I start worrying about the next day. Sometimes I wonder, am I truly living, or just being swept along like a wheel spinning endlessly without rest?" I looked at her for a moment, then said, "Perhaps you are caught in a very modern cycle of rebirth, one we might call the realm of endless busyness." "Oh?" We both laughed, but her eyes suddenly softened. "You see, rebirth today does not necessarily mean moving from life to life. It is how the mind keeps spinning in repetitive cycles of habit, of craving, of aversion, of delusion, of desires that never cease, waking up already in a rush, through the day filled with worries, comparisons, competition, at night sinking into fatigue, restless sleep, and then repeating the same the next day. This too is a kind of birth and death within each day of living." Someone once asked me, "Master, how can I step out of this cycle?" I did not answer right away. I simply poured them a cup of tea. Try drinking this tea, but do it with full mindfulness. Think of nothing else. Look at the color of the tea. Feel the warmth in your hands. Smell its fragrance. And drink it slowly, sip by sip." End quote. After finishing, the person said, "Strange, I feel much calmer now." End quote. I smiled. That is already one step outside the cycle of rebirth. And 14. When we are fully present with what we are doing, whether drinking tea, washing dishes, walking, or breathing, in that moment, we are no longer trapped in old patterns. We are free. Liberation is sometimes not a grand event. It may be just one moment of wakefulness amidst countless moments of distraction, and that, already, is a great step forward. Tonight, if you wish, you might try one very simple thing. Before closing your eyes to sleep, listen to your heartbeat. No need to adjust it. No need to judge it. Just listen. In that very moment, you are already outside the cycle of mental samsara. And as I promised, in the next part, we will look more deeply into this thing we call the self. Does it truly exist in the way we think? A very interesting story awaits you in the next part. Dear friend, from the moment we are born, each of us is taught one thing. You are a separate individual. On God, we have a name, an age, a form, preferences. There are things we like and things we dislike. There is mine, my house, my car, my beloved. This self, over time, grows more solid like a rock within the heart. But have you ever tried to turn the question around? Who am I? Is this self truly something fixed and unchanging? Long ago, a Zen master was once visited by a learned scholar This scholar was well-versed, having read hundreds of books. He asked, "Master, please show me, what is the ultimate nature of the self?" The Zen master did not answer. He simply took a blank sheet of paper, picked up a brush, and wrote the word self upon it. Then he held up the paper and asked, "Is this you?" The scholar laughed. "Of course not. That is only writing." The master then gestured toward him and said, "Then amid this breath, this thought, this emotion, where exactly is there a fixed self?" The scholar fell silent for a long time. Have you ever noticed? The mind is like a river. Thoughts flow by, emotions shift. The body changes day by day. So then where is there truly an unchanging I? One scientist once said, "The human body renews all of its cells every few years." The body I have today is entirely different from the me of several years ago. In Zen, there is a beautiful image to express this. A map draws borders, but the earth has no borders. On paper, we see North America and South America as separate, but beneath the ocean, all is one continuous land. The self is much the same. On the surface, we seem separate from others, but looking deeply, each breath, each drop of blood, each thought is connected to all things. We breathe through air, yet the air does not belong to us. We live through food and water, yet these come from earth, rain, and sunlight. Our minds are shaped by the words, glances, and actions of countless others around us. Thus, the idea of an independent self is merely an illusion nurtured by habit. There is no separate I, and there is only the flowing stream of causes and conditions always moving, always changing. When you understand this, your heart grows much lighter. There is no longer a need to preserve some fixed image of yourself. No need to fear what others may think. No more clinging to success or loss, gain or failure. One day, someone asked a Zen master, "If there is no self, then who is practicing?" The master smiled and said, "Like a wave upon the ocean, it has form. It has sound, but it is never separate from the water." Practice is like this. There is effort, there is discipline, but no rigid self standing apart. Dear friend, tonight, as you sit quietly in this peaceful darkness, try gently offering this question into your heart. If there is no I, then what is breathing right now? What is listening? Do not rush to find an answer. Simply let your mind rest in that stillness, letting it reveal itself, like clouds slowly dissolving into a clear blue sky. And as the sense of self grows lighter, you will begin to sense that all things are interwoven, where the boundary between self and other, between this and that, softly fades away. A wondrous world, when the double-edged sword of desire loses its sharpness. Dear friend, there is something very curious about life. Desire arises to bring us joy, but if we are not skillful, it becomes a double-edged sword, leaving the heart wounded. Long ago, the Buddha told a story. There were children who loved honey. One day, they saw a knife coated with honey and eagerly began to lick it. At first, the sweetness filled their mouths, but the more they licked, the more their tongues began to bleed, and yet they could not stop. At first glance, this story may seem distant from us, but look closely. Each of us carries such a knife in the mind. Sometimes it is the craving for wealth, sometimes for fame, sometimes for affection or recognition. At first, it is sweet. We obtain what we desire. and we rejoice. But soon enough, the craving stirs again. We want more. We want to keep what we have. We grasp and refuse to let go. And from this grasping, fatigue, anxiety, and suffering quietly seep in. One day, a young man came to see me, dark circles under his eyes, his voice weary. "Master, I keep working, earning, striving, but the more I have, the more I feel lacking. I don't understand why." I poured him a cup of tea and told him the story of the honeyed knife. After hearing it, he sat silently for a long time, then sighed. "It seems I've been licking the knife for a long time without even knowing it." Desire itself is not the enemy. It is our attachment to it that is the root of suffering. In Zen, the masters often teach, look into the nature of desire, see it arise, see it pass away. Do not chase it. Do not push it away. Simply observe. When we can observe a desire arising without immediately acting on it, we discover something remarkable. Desire is not permanent. It comes and goes like clouds drifting across the sky. One Zen master expressed it beautifully. It is not about destroying desire, but understanding it. With understanding, it softens naturally. Sometimes, all it takes is to sit quietly for 5 minutes, breathe mindfully, and observe a rising desire, and we will see it is not as powerful as we once thought. But if we follow it from the very first moment, the wave will only grow stronger, carrying us far away. You can try this in daily life. When craving a certain food, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, do I truly need this right now? When wanting to buy something, sit for a moment and ask, is this desire enduring or fleeting? Often, simply giving ourselves a little space, the desire will settle on its own, like a lake growing still after the wind. Living this way, the heart becomes lighter each day, not because we force ourselves to have no desires, but because we are no longer blindly driven by them. And the sweetness of inner freedom is sweeter than anything outside. Tonight, in the gentle rhythm of your breath, you might quietly look at one desire that is stirring within you. Do not judge it. Do not resist it. Simply observe it as you would watch a cloud slowly drift across the sky. And perhaps, in that very moment, the double-edged sword of desire will grow a little duller, and your heart will feel light as a passing breeze. There was another time when I met a successful businesswoman. She possessed everything that people often dream of: her own company, a luxurious home, a beautiful car. But one afternoon, as we sat together beneath a gentle rain, she suddenly said, "Master, it's strange. I have everything, and yet I still feel as though something is missing inside." And I smiled and pointed out toward the eaves. "Do you see the raindrops falling?" She nodded. They do not try to fall faster or slower. They simply fall, and that is what makes them beautiful. But the more we strive to accumulate, the more restless our hearts become. And she fell silent for a long while. Desire is a natural part of being human, but when it exceeds the bounds of mindfulness, it becomes an invisible chain. In Zen, there is a beautiful term, knowing enough. Knowing enough does not mean giving everything up. It means knowing when the heart is already full. One master once taught, one who knows enough, even sleeping on a tattered mat, rests with peace. One who does not know enough, even sitting upon a golden throne, remains unsettled. End of calm. You can practice this in very small ways. A good meal when satisfied. No to stop. A day of work when your energy is spent. No to rest. A relationship when there is genuine connection. To cherish it, rather than seeking to control. Once, I was invited to speak at a large company. During a break, a young engineer came to me and said, "Master, every day I'm chasing targets. Once I meet one, a new one appears. I feel like there's no end." I asked, "If you keep running without knowing when to stop, aren't you like an electric fan without an off switch?" He laughed sheepishly. "I guess I've been making myself into a fan that never stops." You see, knowing when to pause is an art of living. Pausing does not mean giving up. Pausing is what allows the heart to remain spacious to breathe. Désir, when seen through the light of awareness, becomes a healthy motivation. But if it is driven by ignorance, it turns into a rope that binds us more tightly each day. Tonight, in the slow rhythm of your breath, you might quietly ask yourself, is there something I have been chasing too hard that has already left my heart weary? If so, offer yourself a gentle pause. Even that alone can dull the edge of the double-edged sword. And you will see, freedom lies not in adding more, but in letting go of burdens we no longer need to carry. Zen little raindrops in everyday life. Many people, when they hear of Zen or meditation, often think of it as something lofty meant only for great masters dwelling in remote mountains. But in truth, Zen lives in each breath, in the smallest of daily acts, and is accessible to anyone, if the heart is willing to pause. One time, a young student asked me, "Master, I don't have time to meditate like the monks. Can I still practice Zen?" I smiled and replied, "Zen does not require sitting on a cushion. Zen can be in the way you wash dishes, sweep the floor, to make tea, or even when you soothe your child to sleep." Zen is not about seeking something different. Zen is doing ordinary things in an extraordinary way, with full presence. There is a story I love to share. One day, someone asked a Japanese Zen master, "Master, what did you do before enlightenment?" He replied, "Chop wood, carry water, and after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, and from." Do you see? It is not the action that changes. It is the mind with which we perform the action that transforms. In the past, when washing dishes, perhaps we washed while thinking about tomorrow's plans. Now, when washing dishes, we simply wash feeling the warmth of the water, the scent of the soap, the sound of the flowing water, the smoothness of the dishes beneath our hands. That is Zen, a raindrop falling on old roof tiles, a small sparrow darting across the twilight sky, a gentle breeze stirring the curtain. If we are fully present with these, everything becomes alive and wondrous. There is no need to be enlightened to see this. We simply need to slow down a little, to listen, to look deeply, and that is enough. During one meditation class in the city, I once told my students, "Don't think you must wait for free time to practice Zen. Every moment in life can be Zen if we are truly present." Folding clothes can be Zen. Waiting at a red light can be Zen. Sitting quietly with a loved one, without reaching for the phone, is also Zen. Zen is not found in the special. End quote. Zen is in how we live the ordinary. Once, a little girl asked me, "Master, is Zen like magic?" I smiled. Magic is when you pick up your chopsticks and eat with gratitude. Magic is when you feel the raindrop on your cheek as a gift from the sky and earth. The girl giggled and said, "Then I want to learn Zen." Dear friend, tonight, when a breeze drifts by, when the lamp casts its glow upon the wall, when footsteps echo faintly from afar, if you pose, take a deep breath, and feel these things as though touching life for the very first time, then Zen is already blooming in your heart. And these small raindrops, gathered day by day, will refresh the entire field of your consciousness. All it takes is a little stillness, a little breath, a little awareness, and that is enough to nurture something truly beautiful in your daily life. One time, I was invited to teach Zen to a group of office workers. During the sharing session, an accountant asked me, "Master, every day I have to work with numbers, with computers. Can I still practice Zen in such work?" I smiled gently. "Why not? When you enter each number with a calm mind, knowing clearly what you are doing, that is also Zen. When you blink, rest your hands from the keyboard and take a gentle breath, that is also Zen." End quote. Zen does not require us to quit our jobs, climb mountains, or enter monasteries. Zen encourages us to live fully right within our work, right within daily life. A driver once shared with me, "In the past, I used to get very frustrated during traffic jams, but since learning mindful breathing, whenever I stop at a red light, I treat it as a chance to take a deep breath. Now my heart is much more at ease." End 1. You see, Zen can be present in the smallest of moments. A stretch after a long work session, a smile shared with a colleague, a pause to watch raindrops on the windshield during a passing shower. We do not need to wait until we are seated formally in meditation to practice Zen. Zen can be right here in this very moment, as you read these words with a calm and open heart. One afternoon, I sat drinking tea with an old farmer. He said, "Master, I don't know how to read Zen books, but when I'm in the fields, hearing the water flow, watching the rice grow day by day, I feel very peaceful." I smiled and replied, "Then you are already living Zen." Zen is not found in books. Zen is found in how we live each day. When we eat a meal with mindfulness, feeling gratitude for each grain of rice, each leaf of vegetable, when we wash a child's hair with tenderness, when we fold a blanket, wipe a table, or sweep the yard with gentle attention, all of these, when done with presence, are Zen. A young teacher once said to me, "Master, sometimes I'm so tired, I forget that I'm alive. In those moments, how can I return to myself?" I replied, "Just remember to take a deep breath. The breath is the red thread that connects you to the present moment. With one mindful breath, you have already returned." Oh, dear friend, tonight, in this gentle darkness, you might try, pause for a moment, listen to your heartbeat, listen to the tiny sounds of the space around you. There is no need to do anything special. Just be fully present, and Zen is already here. And as you practice this each day, even the smallest tasks will begin to carry spirit. Daily life will no longer feel dull, but will become a flowing stream of beauty and mindfulness. The silent teacher. Dear friend, when we first begin learning Zen, many of us long to meet a great teacher. That teacher might be a Zen master, a monk, a renowned scholar. But as we walk further along this path, we begin to realize the greatest teacher does not always take human form. Sometimes it is a flower, a gentle rain, a bird in flight, or the very stumblings of life itself. One day, a young student came to me, his face full of longing. "Master, I have searched and searched, but I have yet to find an enlightened teacher to guide me." "Oh," I smiled, led him into the garden, and pointed to a chrysanthemum blooming in the morning sun. "Do you see that flower?" He nodded. "Does it teach you anything?" He thought for a moment, then softly replied, "It blooms so naturally. It does not strive to be beautiful. It does not show off. It simply blooms." I smiled. "Then you have already learned your first lesson from a silent teacher?" Sometimes. The teacher appears in moments we might easily overlook. A bout of illness teaches us impermanence and humility. A loss teaches us how to let go and how to love more deeply. A mistake teaches us self-acceptance. One Zen master once said, "Every person, everything, every circumstance can be a teacher if we open our heart to learn." Oh, have you noticed? Children are wonderful teachers. They live fully in each moment. They laugh when joyful. They cry when sad. They play without worrying about tomorrow. I once watched a child playing in a puddle after the rain. She stomped her feet, water splashing everywhere, laughing with delight. In that moment, I realized Zen is exactly this, living fully in what is, not pulled by past or future. Once, an elderly woman selling sweet soup at the market heard me speaking about Zen. She smiled gently and said, "Master, you speak so high and deep, but I only know when I cook my pot of sweet soup. I stir it evenly, taste it carefully, and serve it to customers with joy. Is that Zen too?" I bowed to her with respect. "You teach Zen better than I do." The silent teacher can be a cloudy afternoon, teaching us to accept days without sunshine. It can be a fallen leaf, teaching us that everything has its time. It can be a stranger's gaze in a crowded street, reminding us that human kindness is always present around us. When our heart opens, every moment of life becomes a priceless classroom. Dear friend, tonight, as you sit quietly, try reflecting. In the past week, was there something even very small that taught you a gentle lesson? That was your silent teacher. And when we learn from these simple moments each day, life becomes a flowing river of Zen, refreshing, nourishing, and full of grace. Zen in a bowl of rice. Dear friend, have you ever eaten a meal where you were truly present with each bite? Not eating while checking your phone, not chewing while thinking about tomorrow's work, not rushing, not hurrying, just sitting there eating with gratitude and mindfulness. Long ago, Zen masters would often teach their students, when eating, just eat. When drinking tea, just drink tea. It sounds simple, but within that just lies a whole sky of mindfulness. One time, I went with a group of young friends to a monastery for a retreat. During the first meal, everyone was still a bit awkward. They scooped rice quickly, grabbed food busily. No one speaking a word, but their minds were not truly in the meal. They were still caught up in thoughts of the world outside. I gently reminded them, pause for a moment. Look at this bowl of rice. Within it are the sun, the rain, the earth, the farmer's labor, and the care of many hands. Eat as though it is your first time tasting such a bowl of rice. After a while, the dining hall grew quiet. Everyone ate more slowly, chewed more carefully, and smiles began to appear. Eating mindfully is not just about filling the stomach. It is about nourishing gratitude and appreciating each dish, each drop of sweat from those who made it possible. Another time, I shared a meal with an old woman in the countryside. She said something beautiful. Each time I eat, I silently thank the sky and earth. On rainy days when I can't go to the fields, even a bowl of plain rice with pickled vegetables tastes as precious as a royal feast. Zen in a bowl of rice is exactly this. It is not about eating fancy foods. It is not about elaborate rituals. It is simply eating with full presence and gratitude, and any bowl of rice becomes a gift of the earth and sky. A student once asked me, "Master, how do I know if I'm eating mindfully?" I replied, asterisk, try eating more slowly. When chewing, feel the taste. When swallowing, know you are swallowing. When setting down your chopsticks, you know you are setting them down. If you can do this, then you are already practicing Zen during your meal. End of France. You can try this in your very next meal. Before taking the first bite, pause for a moment, look at the bowl of rice, and silently offer gratitude. Eat slowly, chew thoroughly, savor each flavor. Midway through, you might set your chopsticks down and take a gentle breath. When eating this way, you will find the meal is no longer a mindless habit. It becomes a living meditation where mind and body unite in each motion. Someone once asked me, "Master, won't eating like this slow down my life?" I smiled. It won't slow you down. On the contrary, after such a meal, you'll have more energy and more joy to fully live. End of quote. Zen is not far away, right here, in an ordinary bowl of rice. If we are fully present, we are already walking the path of Zen. Tonight, if you have a chance to enjoy a meal, whether alone or with loved ones, try eating with a gentle, grateful, mindful heart. You will find each grain of rice like a pearl, each meal becoming a ceremony that nourishes both body and spirit. Dear friend, within each of us, there is a garden in the heart. Some plant within it beautiful flowers, such as compassion, gratitude, and simple joy. But at times, this garden also holds old leaves and dry branches, unspoken sorrows, unhealed memories. Long ago, an old Zen master once taught me, a person does not need to be joyful all the time. Sorrow is also a natural part of life. What matters is that we can see it as we would see fallen leaves, knowing that they too will return to the earth and nourish new growth. And one of my students once shared with me, "Master, there are old memories that keep coming back. Sometimes I want to forget them, but the more I try, the heavier my heart feels." End of quote. I told her, "You don't need to forget. You only need to learn to look at them with gentle eyes. Like when you pass by an old tree with faded leaves, you do not hate them, nor try to pluck them away. You simply know they are part of the tree, and they will fall when the time comes." End of quote. In Zen, we do not force ourselves to always be positive. We learn to be present with all states of mind, joy, sadness, love, anger, just as they are. Once, while meditating beneath a tree, old childhood memories suddenly arose within me. Rainy days, moments of anger, small fears. I simply sat there, breathing gently, watching those memories as leaves drifting along a stream. No clinging, no pushing away. After a while, my mind grew very light. The memories remained, but they no longer weighed upon me as before. You can try this. When a sadness arises, do not rush to dismiss it. Take a gentle breath and silently say, "Hello, I see you are here." Then simply sit quietly with it for a while. You will see, when met with mindful awareness, sadness begins to soften, like a dry leaf carried by the wind. A Zen master once taught, some wounds do not need to be healed. They only need to be seen with the light of understanding and love, and they will transform on their own. You see, we do not need a perfect garden without fallen leaves. A beautiful garden is one that embraces every season, blooming flowers, falling leaves, sun, and rain. Our hearts are the same. Let yourself be fully human, sometimes strong, sometimes tender, sometimes joyful, sometimes sorrowful. These emotions, when held with compassion, will become rich soil to nourish the soul. Tonight, you might try sitting quietly for a moment. Ask your heart, is there an old leaf within me that I have not yet seen? Then breathe gently and smile at yourself. There is no need to clear away all the old leaves at once. Simply know they are part of life, and we can learn to live with them in peace. Letting go of the sword, letting go of the burden. Dear friend, there is an old Zen story that I love to share with those new to the path. One day, a general came to visit a famous Zen master. He asked, "Master, I have killed many on the battlefield. My heart is heavy and restless. Can I learn Zen to find peace?" The Zen master looked directly into his eyes and said gently, "Put down your sword." The general was startled. "But master, I did not bring a sword with me." The master smiled. "The sword is not in your hand, it is in your heart. Put down the sword in your mind, and you will find peace." Putting down the sword in Zen is not only about weapons. It means letting go of the many invisible blades we carry in our hearts each day. The blade of anger, the blade of resentment, the blade of shame, the blade of rigidity. One day, a young student confided in me, "Master, I know I should let go of my anger, but the more I try, the tighter my heart feels." End 14. I told her, letting go does not mean forcing yourself to forget immediately. Letting go is looking deeply into the anger, understanding why it is there, and gradually softening it, like releasing a stone into a flowing river. Letting go in Zen is not an escape. It is a release that comes from understanding and compassion. Someone once asked me, "Master, how can I know if I've truly let go?" I replied, "When you think of that thing, and your heart no longer tightens, no longer pulls, that is a sign you have let go. At least in part. Letting go is not black and white. It is a process, a gradual lightening over time." End quote. Have you noticed? There are worries, grudges, and envies we carry for years, like hauling a heavy bag of stones on our back. Each day, we add another stone, so the journey grows heavier and more exhausting. Zen teaches us, no one forces us to carry this burden. It is we who have grown accustomed to it. Now we simply need to learn, little by little, to set it down. An old monk once said, "Some burdens do not need to be laid down with force. We simply need to realize that we no longer need to carry them." Dear friend, tonight, you might reflect on something you have been carrying a bit too long. Perhaps an old sorrow, perhaps self-blame, perhaps a grudge that has yet to soften. Take a gentle breath and ask yourself, how much longer do I need to carry this? If the time feels right, allow yourself to set it down even just a little. No rush. Let go little by little, And one day, your heart will feel as vast as the sky after rain. When the hand lets go of the sword, it becomes light. When the heart lets go of the burden, it becomes spacious. When one no longer grips so tightly, the path ahead feels more free and open. The story of a raft across the river. Dear friend, there is a story that nearly everyone who studies Zen will hear at some point. The story of the raft across the river, which was once told by the Buddha himself. One day, a traveler wished to cross a river. The near bank was dusty and dangerous. The far bank was smooth and peaceful. But that day, there was no boat, no bridge. So the traveler fashioned a simple raft from bamboo and forest vines. Though crude, he paddled, and at last, he reached the far shore, grateful to the raft. He thought, "This raft has carried me across the river. As I go on, should I carry it on my back to repay its kindness?" But carrying the raft on his back would be heavy. The road ahead would become slow and tiring. Then he understood. The raft was a tool for a part of the journey. Now that I've crossed the river, I should leave it here for others who may need it. As for me, I can walk forward freely. And this story may seem simple, but it holds a profound teaching in Zen. There are many rafts in our lives, old beliefs that once helped us through difficult times, habits that once provided comfort when we felt weak, even relationships, jobs, or cherished ideas that once served us well. But as we move into new phases of life, some of these rafts no longer fit. If we do not skillfully let them go, they become burdens that slow us down. One student once shared with me, "Master, I used to be a perfectionist. It helped me do very well in my work. But now I feel exhausted. I never feel satisfied." I asked, "That perfectionism, which river did it help you cross?" She thought for a moment and answered, "It helped me through the early struggles of building my career." I smiled. "Now you've crossed that river. Perhaps it's time to leave the raft on the old shore." And letting go of an old raft does not mean being ungrateful. It means understanding that everything has its time to honor it. Then release it lightly. You might reflect on your own life. Is there a raft you are still unconsciously carrying? An old belief? An old role? A habit that was once helpful but no longer fits? Sometimes, out of fondness for a past chapter, we hesitate to let go. But you know, life is a flowing river. When we release the old, we make space for the new to blossom. One day, someone asked me, "Master, how can I know when it's time to let go of a raft?" I replied, "When it begins to feel heavy, when you see you no longer need it to move forward, when your heart starts longing to walk more lightly." And tonight, you might gently ask yourself, is there a raft I am still carrying that is no longer needed for this part of my path? There's no need to answer right away. Just let the question rest quietly in your heart, like a seed awaiting the right moment to sprout. And when that day comes, you will find your steps growing lighter, like the traveler who leaves the riverbank, empty-handed, yet with a heart full of gratitude. Zen and the digital world. Mindfulness in the storm of technology. Dear friend, our times are very different from those of the ancient Zen masters. In those days, people lived closer to nature, moved more slowly, and were less caught in the whirlwind of information. Today, we need only open our eyes to find phones buzzing, emails arriving, and social media overflowing with news. Technology is a gift, but also a double-edged sword. If we are not careful, it can control us instead of us mastering it. One day, a friend of mine a designer, came to see me. He sighed, "Master, I spend nearly 5 or 6 hours a day on my phone, and sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing anymore." And I asked him, "When you pick up your phone, are you fully aware that you are doing so?" He shook his head. "Many times. I pick it up out of habit without any clear purpose." And this is the very common loss of mindfulness in the digital age. We are easily drawn into what is called endless scrolling. And 1 minute becomes 10 minutes, then hours. Zen teaches us mindfulness does not mean giving up technology. It means using it with awareness, with presence. One time, I guided a group of young friends to practice. Before opening your phone, pause for 3 breaths. Ask yourself, why am I opening this? When finished, be fully aware as you put it down. It sounds simple, but you know just by practicing this, screen time often decreases significantly. There is nothing wrong with using social media, watching films, or reading news. What matters is, are we present while doing it? Are we in control? Or are we being unconsciously pulled along? One day, I happened to see an elderly man sitting at a small cafe, holding an old phone. But what struck me was this. Each time he typed a message, he paused for a long time, looked at the words, breathed slowly, then continued to type. I asked him, "Sir, why are you so careful?" He smiled gently. "I'm sending this to my grandchild. I want each word I write to carry my heart." End quote. You see, this is Zen in the digital age. We do not need to abandon social media. We simply need to be present when using it. A simple practice I often share. Each day, have at least one screen-free period of 15-30 minutes. No phone. No computer. No TV. Just be with yourself and with the real space around you. End quote. That space is where the mind breathes, the body rests, and emotions settle. One student once shared, in the past, whenever I had free time, I would immediately grab my phone. Now, I spend 20 minutes each evening just sitting quietly, listening to soft music or gazing at my plants. I feel so much clearer. End quote. Dear friend, technology is not the enemy. We simply need to learn to use it mindfully, just as we learn to eat mindfully, to walk mindfully. Tonight, before going to bed, you might turn off your screen 10 minutes earlier. Sit quietly and take a few gentle breaths. Wish yourself a peaceful sleep. No screen needed to lull you. Using technology mindfully is an important Zen practice in our age. Through it, we preserve our freedom and ease, even in the swirling currents of the digital world. A young engineer once spoke to me after a Zen class. "Master, I work in tech. My job requires me to be online constantly. Sometimes I spend 12 to 14 hours a day in front of a screen. Is there a way to avoid burning out?" I replied, asterisk. The key is not to abandon technology, but to create small pauses of stillness amidst the dense streams of connection. For example, after each hour of work, you can stand up, take a few steps, and breathe deeply 3 times. Or each time you switch to a new task, close your eyes for a moment, allowing your mind to rest. Zen in the digital world does not require drastic changes. It only asks for small, steady moments of slowness. In this way, you avoid becoming clogged in the swirling current of information. Another young friend shared with me, "Master, Social media is now full of fake news and negative stories. Sometimes, after reading, my heart feels heavy all day. Oh, I told them, asterisk, asterisk. You have the right to choose the stream of water you drink. Not all water should be consumed. And likewise, not all information should be absorbed. Reduce your exposure to sources that disturb your mind. Choose streams of information that nourish body and heart. This too is a Zen practice, a mindfulness practice in choosing what we bring into the mind. And an old monk once taught me, the world is already too noisy. A wise person is not one who chases every sound, but one who knows how to keep a quiet space to hear what truly matters. And in the digital age, preserving a quiet space for oneself is increasingly important. It could be a morning without checking your phone the moment you wake, a meal without touching the screen, an evening walk in the park, away from all digital devices. Consider this. If each day we had even one such moment, wouldn't the mind feel lighter, clearer? A friend of mine, a school teacher, once told me, I used to check my phone the moment I opened my eyes. Now, I spend the first 10 minutes of the day just breathing, reading a short passage, or listening to the birds outside my balcony. I feel much more peaceful throughout the day. And dear friend, in this digital world, each of us needs an oasis of our own, so that when we step away from the screen, we remember we are still living, breathing, human beings able to feel, to be still. Tonight, you might try this. Before touching your phone next time, pause for a few seconds. Ask yourself, do I truly need to open it right now? If you do, then open it with full awareness. If not, smile and set it down. Even this small habit helps you reclaim much space within your heart. And these small pauses are what truly nourish freedom amid the storm of technology, facing death as an old friend. Dear friend, among all human fears, the fear of death may be the deepest. We fear it because we do not know what lies beyond. We fear having to part from those we love. We fear the sense that we will no longer exist. One day, during a sharing session, a doctor spoke to me, Master, I work in intensive care. Every day, I witness patients passing away, though I've grown used to it. Deep inside, I still fear death. How can I fear it less? I invited her to sit quietly for a moment, then told her this story. Long ago, a young meditation student asked a Zen master, Master, how can I stop fearing death? The master led him into a forest in autumn. Golden leaves covered the path. The master picked up a fallen leaf, now faded, and handed it to him. Look at this leaf. Is it afraid to fall? The student fell silent. The master continued, the leaf knows that when its season comes, it will fall, but it is not lost. It returns to the earth, nourishing the roots so that new buds may sprout in spring. Our bodies are no different. And you see, Zen does not teach us to deny death. Rather, it teaches us to face it directly, to see it as an old friend, to understand that death is not an ending, but a transformation. One Zen master once said, we do not truly possess life. We are the flow of life itself. And this flow never ceases. It only changes form. M. Quote. Once, I sat with an elderly woman, 80 years old. She knew her time was nearing, yet she smiled gently. Master, I'm no longer afraid. I see myself as an oil lamp. When the oil runs out, the flame goes out, but the light it once gave Where is it lost? It remains in the hearts of those I loved. In the things I have done, art in, death cannot take away the life we have truly lived. It simply closes one door, so that another may open. In Zen, there is a beautiful practice called contemplation of impermanence. It is not meant to make us sad. It helps us treasure each breath, each moment of being alive and loving. A young friend once asked me, "Master, won't thinking of death make me live negatively?" I smiled, "Not at all. Knowing we will die helps us live more deeply each day. We will no longer waste time on needless anger. We will cherish each hand we hold, each gaze we meet. And two, when we face death with mindfulness, we can truly live with wholeness." Dear friend, tonight you might try sitting quietly for a moment. Do not let fear take hold. Simply ask yourself, if tomorrow I were no longer here, am I truly living today? Have I spoken words of love to those I love? Am I truly savoring this breath? There is no need for grand changes. Simply know that life is fragile, and that is why each day is precious. When we face death as an old friend, our hearts tremble less, and from there, each day becomes more real, more profound, more beautiful. Moments of reflection over a cup of tea. Dear friend, in the busy rhythm of modern life, perhaps one of the rare moments when we can truly touch ourselves again is when we sit quietly with a cup of tea, a warm cup of tea, a small chair by the window, a slow afternoon, or a quiet night. No elaborate ritual is needed, just a heart willing to pause for a while. In the past, Japanese Zen masters highly valued the art of tea ceremony, not as a performance, but as a practice of mindfulness in every movement, pouring the water, lifting the cup, bringing it to the lips, feeling the warmth flow through the palms and slowly down into the chest. A cup of tea sipped mindfully can be a deep meditation. Once, a friend of mine who worked in finance came to me and sighed, "Master, my mind is constantly spinning with numbers and plans. Even when I get home, I can hardly breathe. Is there a way I can find calm again?" I invited him to sit down. I prepared a pot of tea. As the water boiled, I said, "You don't need to force yourself to be calm." End of quote. Just drink this tea as if it is the first cup you have ever tasted. Enter. We sat in silence. No more words were needed. Sip by sip, the tea passed down the throat. His breath gradually slowed. His face began to soften. After a while, he exhaled deeply. "How strange. Master, I feel as though I've come home." Sometimes, long meditation sessions are not necessary. Just a cup of tea sipped in mindfulness can help us return to the home within. I remember an old monk once said, "When the mind is restless, brew tea. When the heart is weary, sit quietly with tea. When life is turbulent, return to the cup of tea." Think about it. How long has it been since you sat quietly with a cup of tea? Without a phone, without the news, without wandering thoughts? Zen is not just for the meditation hall. Zen can be right here in a small kitchen, beside a simple cup of tea. One day, a student asked me, "Master, what should I do if my mind keeps wandering while drinking tea?" I smiled. "It's perfectly fine. Realizing that you are thinking that itself is mindfulness. Just smile and gently bring your attention back to the aroma of the tea, to the warmth in your hands. No forcing, no rushing." In Deepen, mindfulness is not about keeping the mind empty. In Deepen, mindfulness is about knowing where you are, what you are doing, what you are feeling in this very moment. Dear friend, tonight, if you have time, you might try. Brew your favorite tea, sit quietly, turn off all devices. Just you, the tea, and your gentle breath. Each drop of tea, each breath will slowly wash away the tensions in the heart. And perhaps you will realize that peace has never truly left you. You simply had not paused often enough to feel it. When relationships return to presence, dear friend, through many years of teaching Zen, I've realized something. What many people long for most is not wealth or fame. It is to have relationships that are deep, where hearts truly touch one another. But why is it that, in an age of boundless connection, so many hearts feel lonely? A deep reason is this. We've grown used to being around each other, but rarely are we truly present for one another. One day, a friend of mine, a CEO, shared with me, "Master, I come home late every day. When we sit down to dinner, everyone is holding their phone, each person in their own world. Sometimes I look up and my heart aches. Being physically together, yet lacking presence. This is a deep loneliness in modern relationships." A Zen master once said, "The most precious gift we can offer another is not presence but our full presence." When we are truly present for someone, seeing them with kind eyes, listening with an open heart, they feel it immediately, even without words. Once, during a Zen retreat for couples, I guided them, sit facing each other, say nothing, simply gaze into each other's eyes with gratitude and love, just for 3 minutes. Many shed tears afterward, for it had been so long since they had truly met, not through a screen, not through roles, not through old stories. Dear friend, in relationships, presence is the deepest gift we can give. When speaking, put down the phone, look at the other with eyes that truly listen. When sharing a meal, let your heart be present at that table. When someone shares their worries, do not rush to advise. Simply listen with your whole heart. That presence can heal many distances in relationships. A friend once shared, "I used to think I had to do something big to make it up to my wife and kids. Now I understand just coming home a little earlier, sharing dinner without my phone, listening to my child's stories from school. That alone brings so much more happiness." Zen in relationships is not some lofty technique. It is simply learning to be truly present for each other. As when we are fully present with a cup of tea, no past, no future, just this moment and the one we love. Dear friend, tonight you might gently ask yourself, today, have I truly been present for anyone? When was the last time I looked at a loved one with kind, loving eyes? No need to wait for a special occasion. Tomorrow, when you meet someone, try being fully present for them. Just once, you may see a small miracle, distance softening, warmth spreading. Presence is the deepest language of the heart, and presence is also the most beautiful path of Zen in our everyday relationships. The whispering voice in your head, an uninvited guest. Dear friend, have you ever wondered, why is there always a voice whispering in my head? A voice that constantly judges, comments, reminds, compares. Why am I so bad at this? That person is better than me. I'm not doing well enough. This is the inner critic, the voice of self-judgment, an uninvited guest that often lingers in our minds. Long ago, when I first started practicing Zen, I struggled with this too. Every time I sat in meditation, that voice would echo in my head. What's the point of sitting like this? Why isn't my mind calm? I'm not good enough to learn Zen. It wasn't until later that an old master taught me something very profound. You don't need to chase away that voice. Just recognize it is a voice. It is not you. That was a huge shift. From identifying with that voice to seeing it as just a stream of thought, not my true self. One student once told me, "Master, every time I fail, this voice in my head keeps saying, I'm worthless. No one else says it, but I wear myself out with it." Oh, I asked, "When you hear that voice, can you see who is saying it?" She was silent. I continued, "It's just an old habit of the mind. It is not your true self. You only need to breathe slowly and watch that voice like a cloud, drifting by without grasping, without pushing." You see, our minds are very good at creating stories, and we often get trapped inside those stories. A Zen master once taught, "The mind may think 1,000 thoughts, but the awakened one simply watches, not swept away." And a helpful practice is this: when a self-critical voice arises, silently acknowledge, a voice is here, and no need to argue with it. No need to push it away. Just observe it, like watching a stranger pass on the street. The more we can do this, the less power that voice holds. It no longer drives us or controls our emotions. One friend once said, "In the past, whenever that critical voice came up, I would react strongly, trying to argue with it. Now I just watch it like faint background radio noise. I don't bother tuning in." And, dear friend, everyone has these inner voices. It is normal. The issue is not to eliminate them, but to learn not to be carried away by them. When we recognize, "I am not the voice in my head," our hearts naturally feel more spacious. Tonight, you might try this. When a self-critical thought arises, pause, breathe slowly, and watch it like a passing cloud. It is not you, just an old stream of thought passing by. That uninvited guest will eventually tire and leave if we neither entertain nor resist it, but simply observe. And as the mind becomes less controlled by those voices, we will have more inner space to welcome life freshly, fully, and freely. A simple life when letting go brings greater ease. Dear friend, the deeper I walk on the path of Zen, the more I realize this. Peace does not come from adding more. Peace comes from letting go of what is unnecessary, letting go of excessive desires, letting go of unrealistic expectations, letting go of needless worries. In the old days, Zen masters lived very simply. One robe, one bowl, a quiet place to sit in meditation. Yet their hearts were vast and free, not because they were poor, but because they understood. Simplicity is not lack, it is knowing what is enough. Once, I met a very successful businessman. He had achieved much: a grand house, beautiful cars. But he told me, "Master, the more exhausted I feel, managing so many things, fearing to lose so many things. Sometimes I just wish to live simply like I did long ago." "Is it?" I asked him. "Is there anything you could let go of now?" He thought for a while, then said, "Perhaps I can reduce unnecessary meetings, buy fewer things I don't truly need, let go of petty rivalries that bring no real value." And, you see, simplicity does not mean poverty. Simplicity is a choice of the heart. It is knowing when to add and when to release. An old monk once told me, "A bowl can only hold so much water. Pour too much, and it will overflow." Our hearts are the same. If we keep adding endlessly, there will be no room for peace to bloom. And there is a lovely practice I often share. Each month, try letting go of one thing you do not need, or one habit that does not nourish you, or one worry that is no longer useful. Quote, "You will notice your heart gradually becoming lighter." A friend once tried this, and later told me, "Master, at first I thought decluttering the house wouldn't matter, but after clearing things out, the house felt more spacious, and so did my heart. I also stopped checking social media so often, and now I have more time for my family." Quote, "A simple life does not mean abandoning everything. It means keeping what truly nourishes you and releasing what drains you." Dear friend, tonight, you might ask yourself, is there something I'm carrying in life that I no longer need? Perhaps a possession, perhaps a worry, perhaps a relationship that has run its course, perhaps a habit that drains your energy. Even letting go just a little brings a little more ease. And over the years, you will discover living simply is a kind of wealth of a very different kind. A wealth of peace, a wealth of quiet space, a wealth of small, deep joys. Dear friend, when learning Zen, many people often ask me, where does Zen originate from? Do I need to understand its history to practice? I usually smile and gently reply, it's nice to understand the roots, but what truly matters is whether we are living mindfully each day. If you enjoy stories, the journey of Zen is a very beautiful one, a journey that has crossed many lands and eras to reach the hearts of people today. Long ago, over 500 years ago, after attaining enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, the Buddha, Shakyamuni, did not write books, nor did he establish rigid doctrines. He simply lived and shared from his own direct, vibrant experience. There was once a teaching session where the Buddha simply held up a flower in silence. Everyone was puzzled. Only one disciple, the Venerable Mahakashyapa, gently smiled, understanding the master's intent. From this moment came the phrase, a special transmission outside the scriptures, not conveyed through words, but through direct, living insight. This was the first seed of Zen. Later, Zen traveled to China through great masters such as Bodhidharma, Huineng, and others, gradually blooming within Eastern culture. Especially when Zen reached Japan, it developed into practices that were deeply woven into daily life. Zen tea ceremony, Zen flower arranging, Zen calligraphy, Zen in martial arts. From there, Zen was no longer confined to meditation halls, but became present in every breath of ordinary life. Then, in the 20th and 21st centuries, Zen began spreading to the West, not as a religion but as an art of living, a path of healing for modern people. You see, the journey of Zen is a journey without borders. It is not bound by form. It is not boxed in by theory. One day, a young person asked me, "Master, I'm not a Buddhist. Can I still learn Zen?" I smiled. Zen asks for no label. It only asks whether your heart can pause, listen, and live deeply, and that is enough. End of tree. The root of Zen is mindfulness. The branches of Zen are touching life in small, ordinary moments. The fruit of Zen is a light heart, an open mind, and a clearer gaze upon life. Dear friend, when we understand this journey, we realize whether we are in East or West, in a Zen center or in a cafe, sitting in meditation or washing dishes, Zen can be present. If we are present, Zen does not live in the past. Zen is not locked in books. Zen lives in each breath, each glance, each step we take today. Tonight, as you breathe gently, you might smile silently. I am continuing a very ancient stream of Zen, yet it feels completely fresh in this very moment. Oh, the rivers of Zen, Rinzai, Soto, Obaku. Dear friend, after Zen was transmitted from India to China and later to Japan, along that flowing stream, different branches of Zen gradually emerged, not to divide, but much like smaller rivers branching off from a great river, each with its own current, yet all carrying the water toward the sea. In Japan, there are three main streams of Zen that are often mentioned by practitioners: Rinzai, Soto, Obaku. You can think of them as three slightly different ways of practice, but all nurturing the same mindful heart, compassion, and fully alive way of being. Rinzai Zen, like a strong, sharp river. In Rinzai, students are often given koans, paradoxical questions that cannot be solved by logic. For example, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Or, before you were born, what was your true face? The aim is not to produce a clever answer, but to break free of habitual thinking, opening the way for a moment of sudden insight. Soto Zen, like a gentle river flowing slowly, seeping into the earth. The heart of Soto practice is zazen seated meditation, not striving for enlightenment, not trying to achieve anything, simply sitting, dwelling fully in the present moment, allowing each breath, each moment to become clear as a still lake. One Soto teacher once said, "We do not sit to become Buddhas. We sit to live fully in each moment." And when we live like this, we have already touched Buddha nature. And Obaku Zen, a stream of Zen with greater influence from Chinese traditions. In Obaku monasteries, in addition to seated meditation, there is also chanting, tea, meditation, and walking meditation, all woven into daily life. The spirit of Obaku is open and harmonious, blending tradition with everyday application. You see, these three streams are like three rivers flowing at different rhythms. A strong current, Rinzai; a gentle current, Soto; a harmonious current, Obaku. Yet all bring the practitioner back to the essence of Zen, living mindfully, seeing the nature of the mind, returning to the fresh, the wholesome life that is here. Now, someone once asked me, "Master, which stream should I follow?" I smiled. Any stream is fine. The important thing is, when you drink the water, do you truly taste its cool sweetness? Not to argue over which river looks more beautiful. End quote. A bowl of rice eaten in mindfulness, a breath fully present, a loving gaze offered with gratitude. These are the living fruits of Zen, no matter which stream you follow. Dear friend, tonight as you breathe gently, you might smile. I do not need to label myself. I only need to live each day deeply. And in doing so, I am already flowing with the rivers of Zen. End of crest. The lamp passed from hand to hand. Dear friend, there is an image in Zen that I deeply cherish. The lamp passed from teacher to student, not a literal lamp of wax or oil, but the lamp of mindfulness, the lamp of deep living, passed from one heart to another. Long ago, after the Buddha entered parinirvana, his disciples held a lamp lighting ceremony, passing the flame from one lamp to another. One flame lighting 1,000 flames, yet the light is not diminished. On the contrary, the more it spreads, the brighter it becomes. Zen has been transmitted in this way, not through thick books, but through living presence, from teacher to student, from one heart deeply experienced to one that is learning, from one warm hand to another. One day, I asked an old teacher, "Master, what is the transmission of mind seal in Zen?" The teacher simply smiled and handed me a cup of warm tea. He said nothing, just looked at me with eyes full of love and mindfulness. In that moment, I suddenly understood. Transmission is not about giving something external. It is when two hearts meet in full presence, a silent, wordless understanding. That is transmission. Zen does not require many words. A breath that is present, a gaze of calm, a life of simplicity and compassion that is already transmission. One day, a student asked me, "Master, I've never met a famous Zen master. Can I still learn Zen?" I replied, "You already have. Not through fame, but through anyone who is fully present with you, who helps your heart grow still. It might be a friend, an elderly neighbor, or even yourself when you sit quietly with a cup of tea." Sting, the lamp of mindfulness is everywhere if we know how to recognize it. I once met an old farmer. He couldn't read or formally study Zen, but when he watered the plants, when he lovingly tended his vegetables, when he smiled at the children in the village, his whole being radiated a strange, calm peace. I thought, he himself is a living lamp. It is not about studying much or knowing much in order to transmit Zen. It is about living fully each day that makes the lamp shine brightest. Dear friend, on the path of Zen, if you are fortunate to meet a teacher, be grateful. But remember, what the teacher transmits is not in words, but in how they live, in their presence, in their calm breath, mindful steps, loving gaze. And when we live in this way, we too become a lamp for others. We do not need to be a Zen master. We need only be fully present in each moment. Tonight, you might quietly ask yourself, in my life, has anyone ever lit such a lamp for me? And have I yet lit this lamp for someone else? A warm hand passed to another hand. A still heart passed to another heart. These lamps continue, passing from one to another across 1,000 years silently, yet ever shining. Just sit like a cloud drifting. Dear friend, many people new to Zen often ask me, "Master, when I sit in meditation, what should I achieve?" I usually smile gently and say, "You don't need to achieve anything. Just sit, like a cloud drifting across the sky, not needing to go anywhere, not needing to do anything." And in Zen Zazen sitting meditation is exactly like this. Not to attain enlightenment, not to reach a certain state, simply to sit fully present with your body and mind. Once, I visited a Zen monastery in Kyoto. It was very early in the morning, the sky still cloaked in mist. The practitioners were already sitting quietly in the zendo. No one spoke, only the sound of gentle wind outside, the soft breath of the room within. I sat down in a corner, breathing lightly, not thinking of any goal, not wishing for the mind to be calm or not calm, just sitting as if sitting beside an old friend, no need for words, yet fully present. After a while, I looked out the window. I saw a white cloud drifting across the sky, not hurrying, not grasping, not competing with other clouds, just drifting in its own nature. I smiled. Zen is just like this. Just sitting, nothing special to do. Not trying to make the mind calm. Not trying to make the body right. Just sitting, knowing that we are alive in this moment. An old teacher once told me, we do not sit to become someone else. We sit to return to who we already are, simple, natural. Have you noticed? We are so used to doing this, achieving that, completing something. So when we sit, it's easy to bring in the mind of wanting to accomplish something. But Zen teaches us to release that mind, to sit, simply to sit, like a flower blooming, not striving to bloom, like a cloud drifting, not striving to drift. One day, a student asked me, "Master, when I sit, my mind is restless. Is that okay?" I smiled. It's perfectly okay. A restless mind is just another cloud. Just sit, breathe softly, and watch that mind like watching clouds pass by. No need to push it away. No need to hold on to it. Every cloud will eventually pass. Dear friend, when we practice just sitting, we begin to notice, gradually, our mind softens, no longer tense with the need to achieve, no longer forcing itself to be this way or that. And in that softness, serenity naturally blooms like a flower that does not force itself to blossom. Tonight, if you have the chance, you might try. Sit quietly for a while. No need for a perfect posture. Just sit comfortably. Breathe lightly. Let go of the thought of having to do anything. Just sit, like a cloud drifting. And this simple sitting may be the deepest moment of your busy day, a moment where you truly return to yourself. Walking, standing, lying down, sitting, every breath is Zen. Dear friend, many people, when they hear of Zen, often think Zen must mean sitting still, and Zen must be practiced in a quiet space. But in the spirit of Zen, walking, standing, lying down, sitting, any posture can be Zen if we are fully present with ourselves. A Zen master once taught, when walking, you are walking. When standing, know you are standing. When lying down, know you are lying down. When sitting, I know you are sitting. That alone is already Zen. And Zen is not limited by form. Zen lies in the quality of presence. Long ago, when I was a young monk in training, I once asked my teacher, "Master, when I do not have time to sit for long meditations, how can I still maintain mindfulness?" My teacher smiled. "Do you have feet?" I nodded. He continued, "Then each step can be Zen. Walk as if each step is pressing gently into the heart of Mother Earth, not rushing, not retreating, not aiming to arrive anywhere, just stepping and breathing." From then on, I began practicing walking meditation, walking slowly, breathing slowly, each footstep touching the ground with full presence. And soon I found my heart becoming very calm. You can try this when walking to work, when taking an afternoon stroll, when walking through a market. Try slowing down. Walk with slow breaths. Feel the soles of your feet touching the earth. Each step, a greeting to life. And not only in walking, when standing, waiting for a bus, that too can be Zen. Instead of checking your phone, simply stand, breathe softly, Feel yourself standing solidly upon the ground. When lying down to rest, that too can be Zen. Restful. Feel each breath flowing in and out. Feel your body resting upon the bed. No need to do anything. No need to force away thoughts. Simply be present with your body in this very moment. One student once told me, "Before, I thought Zen only happened while sitting. Now I try bringing mindful breathing into cooking, cleaning, holding my child. Life feels lighter and fresher." Oh, that is the spirit of living Zen, not separated from daily life, not confined to rituals. Dear friend, each day you might choose any one daily activity and bring full presence into it. It could be washing your face in the morning, washing dishes after a meal, brushing your teeth, putting on your coat. Any moment when you are deeply present, that is Zen. Any place where your mind is mindful, that is a Zen hall. Walking, standing, lying down, sitting, all are doors of return. Return to true life in the present moment. Return to your own self naturally, without effort. Tonight, you might try, before sleep, lie still, breathe gently, and feel fully each breath flowing in and out. That alone can be a deep, healing meditation. Zen and creativity, the art of impermanence. Dear friend, many people often wonder, does Zen make one dry or rigid? I often smile and reply, on the contrary. Zen softens the heart, opens the mind, and makes one more creative, like a fresh stream flowing through each moment of life. Zen and creativity are naturally connected. For when we let go of worries, when we loosen the grip of ego and fixed ideas, the mind becomes wide and clear, like the sky after rain. From that space, creativity flows naturally, without force. A Japanese Zen master once said, "The brush paints most beautifully when the hand no longer tries to control the painting. That hand simply allows the strokes to flow from the life within." Zen teaches us to let go of the mind that wants to make it great or make it beautiful, for such a mind is often tight and full of striving. Instead, it teaches us to be fully present with each stroke, each sound, each word, each gesture. And when we are truly present, beauty arises on its own. Long ago, when I was a young monk, I learned Zen calligraphy. My teacher didn't start by teaching technique. He simply said, "Sit quietly before the blank paper. Breathe. When your mind is still like a calm lake, then pick up the brush." The first time, I was nervous. I wanted the writing to be beautiful, to please the teacher. But the more I wanted, the shakier my strokes became. One day, I let go of all expectations. I just sat, breathed, and looked at the paper as if greeting an old friend. Then the brush moved naturally. I didn't know if it was beautiful, but my heart was very still. The teacher looked and smiled. "Today, you have begun to truly write." Effortless. Zen does not focus on the outcome. Zen cherishes the process of being fully present, and it is in that presence that true beauty blooms. Dear friend, whatever your craft, drawing, writing, cooking, caring for loved ones, when you do it mindfully, without the ego pushing, you are creating in the spirit of Zen. A friend of mine, an architect, once shared, "Before, I designed under great tension, fearing the client's criticism. Now, I sit quietly for a few minutes before starting, no longer striving for greatness, just drawing from presence. And somehow, the designs feel much more alive. Zen also teaches us to embrace impermanence in our creative work, not to cling to the old, not to regret when the work changes or when ideas evolve. A master once reminded, the flower blooms and fades. The work arises and passes. The true beauty lies in the aliveness of the moment it is created. No need to hold on. You can try this. Next time you engage in something creative, drawing, writing, arranging flowers, taking photos, try letting go of the need for it to be good or beautiful. Simply do it with an open mind, soft breath, full presence in each movement. Then you may discover a new, unexpected beauty will naturally arise. Zen does not diminish creativity. Zen allows us to create from a deeper source, free from ego, free from attachment to results. A creativity that is natural, fresh, and ever opening with each living moment. When work becomes a living stream of Zen, dear friend, during many sharing sessions, I often hear people say, "Master, I want to practice Zen, but I'm too busy. Work takes up my whole day." And I usually smile and tell them, you don't need to wait until you're free to practice Zen. It is within your work that you can practice. Work is not an obstacle to Zen. Work can become a living stream of Zen if you are present within it. In the old days, what did the Zen masters do when they weren't sitting in meditation, chopping wood, cooking meals, sweeping the courtyard, carrying water? Each of these was Zen in action. There was no distinction between Zen time and ordinary time. A Japanese Zen master once said beautifully, "When cooking rice, I know you are cooking rice. When sweeping the courtyard, I know you are sweeping the courtyard. When doing any task, be fully present with that task that is Zen." One of my friends is an accountant. She once shared with me, "Before, I worked under great tension. Whenever the numbers became challenging, my heart would race. My head would heat up. After learning Zen, I tried a new approach. Before starting, I take 3 gentle breaths, then open my laptop. While working, I pause now and then to breathe, to relax my shoulders. The result is that I now work more effectively and my heart feels much lighter." End quote. Any kind of work can be transformed when we bring mindful breathing, when we bring presence into it. That work becomes a living stream of Zen. A taxi driver once told me, "Before, when driving, my mind would wander everywhere. Now, I practice looking at the road as if watching a river. My hands flow with the steering wheel. My breath flows with the rhythm of the car. Each journey now feels poetic." End of quote. You see, Zen doesn't ask us to abandon work. Zen helps us to work more deeply, more presently, and with less unconscious stress. Here's a simple practice. Before starting any task in your day, whether opening your computer, picking up a broom, cooking a meal, pause for 3 gentle breaths. Be aware, now I am doing this. End of quote. Then proceed with presence each movement, each breath, each sensation. No need to force it. No need to be perfectly mindful all the time. Simply remember to return to the breath, to the body. Whenever you notice yourself being swept away, dear friend, tonight you might reflect, is there a task tomorrow where I can bring more Zen presence? It could be writing a report with calm presence, sending an email with a peaceful heart, wiping a table with steady breath, speaking to a colleague with genuine presence. When work becomes a living stream of Zen, you will find there is no longer a separation between life and practice. Every moment in the day can be Zen. Every action can nourish your heart and the hearts of those around you. Truth, goodness, and beauty in compassionate action. Dear friend, there is a question that many people quietly carry in their hearts when they come to study Zen. Does Zen make us indifferent to the world? Does it make us so focused on ourselves that we forget about others? I often smile and say, if it is true Zen, it is the opposite. The deeper your Zen practice, the softer your heart becomes. The more awake you are, the more compassionate your heart becomes. Because when we see clearly the impermanence of life, the reality of suffering, and the interconnectedness of all things, the heart naturally opens. It longs to do good, to uplift others. Emberful, this is the very profound beauty of Zen, not merely the beauty of a still mind, but the beauty of a heart that knows how to love. A Zen master once said, "We do not sit in meditation to have a heart as still as dead water. We sit to have a heart as vast as the sky, a heart that can embrace even the tears of the world." Oh, truth is to see reality clearly. Goodness is to love once you have seen. Beauty is when that love naturally expresses itself through your actions. I once knew a woman who worked in social service. She told me, in the past, I did charity work but would become very drained. The more I did, the more exhausted I felt. After learning Zen, I realized it is not about doing more. It is about doing with presence, without clinging, without expectation. Only then can compassion be sustained. Compassion in Zen is not about forcing yourself to do great deeds. It is about letting your heart grow wide and soft, so that even a word can become a flower for someone else. A glance, a gentle touch, a deep listening, all can be acts of compassion. A teacher of mine once said, "You don't need to do grand things to have compassion." Pouring a cup of tea for someone with a loving heart, cradling a child's sleep with tenderness, listening to a friend's life story with a caring ear, these are all beautiful acts of compassion. Ember, dear friend, do not think you must launch large charity projects or change the world to be compassionate. If, each day, you simply live with a softer heart, if you look at others with more kindness, if you speak more gently, you are already helping to ease suffering in the world. One day, a friend asked me, "Master, how can I know if my actions are truly compassionate?" I replied, "When you act without needing others to be grateful, without needing anyone to praise you, you act simply because your heart naturally wishes to. That is true compassion." And the deeper we go into Zen, we see there is no need to preach lofty things. Simply living peacefully and kindly, our presence itself becomes a gift to the world. You can try this tomorrow, to choose one very small action and do it with genuine kindness. It could be greeting the janitor with a warm gaze. It could be making a cup of tea for a colleague. It could be calling your parents to check in. It could be listening to a friend without rushing to give advice. Each of these small acts, when nourished by mindfulness, will bloom like gentle flowers in the garden of life. No need to show off, no need for recognition, but these small acts give life a quiet poetry, a true sense of truth, goodness, and beauty from within the heart. The story of the practitioner who no longer sought. Dear friend, throughout the years of teaching Zen, I have met many newcomers all eager to seek something, seeking peace, seeking enlightenment, seeking lofty states. seeking answers to deep questions within their hearts. This is very natural. When first stepping onto the Zen path, every heart carries a bit of longing, a bit of yearning. But the deeper we go, the more we come to realize seeking is one of the rafts we will eventually need to let go. Long ago, there was a very intelligent and diligent Zen student. He studied countless sutras, practiced meditation diligently, yet in his heart, he was always troubled. When will I attain enlightenment? When will my mind be completely still? One day, he sought out an old Zen master for guidance. He asked, "Master, I have practiced for many years, but still feel I have not attained anything. Am I doing something wrong?" The master looked at him and smiled. "Do you hear the sound of the stream outside?" The student was startled. "Yes, I do." And the master asked again, "Is that stream trying to flow?" Suddenly, the student understood. No, it simply flows. And that is Zen, not seeking, not forcing, simply living each moment deeply, letting the mind open like a stream that naturally flows without striving to attain anything. The more we seek, the more tense the mind becomes. The more we release seeking, the more the heart opens. And it is precisely then that the mind's natural clarity can shine through. I once had a student. She was very diligent, but also impatient. After every retreat, she would ask me, "Master, am I progressing? Why do I not feel I have gained anything?" I simply smiled gently. As long as you still wish to gain, you are not truly sitting. When you can simply sit like a drifting cloud, like a flowing stream, then you will see. All after several years, one day she returned. She no longer asked anything. She simply sat quietly with a cup of tea, her eyes serene. I knew she had passed an important threshold, from one who seeks to one who simply lives deeply. Dear friend, tonight, if your heart still carries things you are seeking, this is very natural. But you can gently ask yourself, is what I am seeking truly outside of me? Or perhaps, when I release the idea of seeking, I will see what has always been present. A Zen master once said, "Original face, your true face has never been far. It is only because we keep seeking that we do not recognize it." Pause. Breathe gently. Smile at this very moment. That is enough. When we no longer seek, we can finally encounter life as it is. Encounter ourselves as we truly are. No adding, no taking away, no embellishment, no resection. A greeting in the realm of dreams, a peaceful night. Dear friend, each night when we close our eyes is a gentle greeting sent to the realm of dreams, a place without haste, without struggle, where only silence resides and breathing flows evenly. In that realm of dreams, all worries dissolve like mist. All desires retreat into the background. Only one breath remains, a breath as vast as sky and sea. We can let life drift by like a tranquil river, neither clinging nor fearing loss, knowing that every moment is a grain of sand. In the boundless flow of time, we may encounter sadness again, joy once more, love and the wounds it brings. But upon awakening, we realize all are part of the universe, part of ourselves, and in that interweaving, we find our own unique peace, a gentle ease, a soul opened without borders. Tonight, as you exhale, let that breath carry away all worries and fatigue. Embrace complete stillness in this moment. Life is but a long dream, and we are the dreamers awakened, stepping lightly with each footfall, smiling softly at ourselves. Thank you for sitting here with me through this journey, and may you find moments of peace, times of slow, deep living, and beautiful dreams within your heart. Tease out, wishing you a peaceful night and a new day filled with mindful awareness